Every time. Hello YouTube, Namaste programs. We're about to start up Citizen Sleeper 2, and I found something quite interesting yesterday. Can I search the playlist? Citizen. No, I want the playlist searched. Oh dang, we're gonna have to find it, are we? That's real. That's actually crap. There we go, Citizen Sleeper, view full playlist. So I had a quick skim through a couple of the VODs from 2 years ago when Citizen Sleeper was played on the channel. And if I go to the beginning here, there's a rather strange coincidence. Wait for it. Wait for it, it's going to be a me. You might not be able to see the me. Come on, let's go. There I am. Oh, yes.
Namaste programs, welcome back to the stream. You know, I was going to play some more Project Zomboid, but nah, there's just a whole bunch of games I've got on my wish list on...
There it is. 2 years ago, I started playing Citizen Sleeper, the first one, after playing Project Zomboid. Exactly the same situation here. What's going on? What is the GO? Anyway, you can hear the game, although I think it's probably pretty loud. So let's click to start. Yes, there are no settings, not even sound. Let's just go. Tutorials on recommended. Difficulty can be changed at any time. Safe. For those who focused on the story, a low risk option. Broken dice are worth 1. High stress tolerance. Death is disabled. Risky. Intended difficulty for those happy to be challenged. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Death incurs a significant penalty. And dangerous. For experienced players who want an unforgiving challenge with no second chances. No, I'm going safe. I don't care what you say. I'm here for the story. I'm not here to lose rolls constantly. That seemed to be my memory of the first game. I enjoyed it, but by God, I was losing rolls all the time. This game is way too loud. Why can't I change the sound levels? Hang on. What do we got here? Ah, yes. Skills. Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own system to re-roll dice, a risky but potential powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Extractors. Extractor sleepers are built to work at the coalface of corporate resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Extractors have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skill allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and of high level of endurance. Machinist. Machinist sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extractions. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Doesn't sound like me. Operator sounds like me. Cerebral, precise. Drones, remote machines. Fuck it, confirm it. Why is it using controller? In the moment before waking, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. The unknown vast and dark interior. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially like the boot process of an old terminal. First your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the time. Then its context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your breath in 0G. Then emotion coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it the first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles, fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distance, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives, the fear. It is a scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong, something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper, the voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted, one person sleeping until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed and eventually to be destroyed, a proxy, an emulation, a sleeper, that is what you are. But you escaped, you remember that now, broke free of your corporate creations, SNR, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes in a pale face, Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. But you try to look away, to the corners of your vision to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters, this object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial, but it would be wasted on you now after what you have done to this body of yours. He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you would find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up, Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, but this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirked. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you have ruined all of that. Lane speaks louder over the sound of struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it, but your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. His name is question mark, your mysterious savior. Hey, he waves a hand in front of your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your waist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on. He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you're in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright screen-filled street beyond. In the corner you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you're out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding towards some unknown destination. Boom! You come to a stop in a dark alley, the one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead, and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. Can I still not get to some kind of settings? No. Yes. Options. Music level 3. Ambient SFX 3. That's much better. Resume. Alright, I need to move myself as well. It looks like... What if I... just do that? Excellent. What's going on, sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. Who are you? You see a concerned frown across his face. Don't mess with me, sleeper. That's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me, who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps. You stare hard at his face, the slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. As you are led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. Darkside, sprawling urban station. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels... The temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle. The rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait! Your guide holds up a hand and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead you see the tunnel opens into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels, the docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphim, alright? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor, both of us. We did this so that we could escape. Seraphim, troubled, stubborn, and on the run. Ah, right. Gotcha. We needed to reboot you to break your dependence on stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete and... He sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. What's the rig? Seraphim looks annoyed. A ship, our ship, or at least it soon will be. Lane assigned it to us when we were on jobs for him. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphim kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads, he bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath, then glide across. Tutorial. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide section of the pause menu. Wait a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look, already panicked, at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby, you need to get it over. Back the door. 50% positive, 50% neutral. I remember that now, yes. Engineer, break the seal. Chance of neutral or negative, but we've got chance of positive or neutral. Let's hack the door. Neutral outcome. Yay, we failed our first roll. Congratulations, everybody. There are going to be plenty more of those to come. You just drink a bit of coffee. I haven't done this much reading for a long time. My throat's not going to be able to handle it, I don't think, but we'll see. Coffee. Coffee. Could try to understand the readout. The door is on emergency lockdown. Somewhere you hear more shouting. Your fingers hover over the keys. You switch to the administration layer and begin flooding the door operation system with spoof requests, desperately hammering the controls. The control OS crashes and the door judders halfway open before failing. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. I hate to say this, but all these booms are annoying. That maybe there. Seraphim is already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open and you both rush inside. Quickly, Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you into a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on. The rig's drive rumbles into life and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. We out of here. Get him out of here. The rig, your refuge in the belt. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. But do we just come back to the space station? Is this a different space station? What? Seraphim burned hard out of Darkside and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is you don't remember any of them. You don't remember? The day Bison graced your village was the greatest day, it was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Had to be done. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns and you see a pained look on his face as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact thing to him before in this same situation? Are you okay? He looks at you, chewing one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in the practice fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphin kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. Not like cyan. We need a plan, he glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. We need to talk. Seraphin furrows his brow. Not now, Sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us, he sighs. We need to survive this thing first, then maybe we can talk. Stay silent. We have bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do, and there are plenty of opportunities here for us if we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. So we're at the same place as the first game? That was Hexport, was it? And we spent that whole game escaping? And so we've escaped and immediately come back? Dude. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's inside. So we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphin stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into a sleeve. I don't want you passing out in... He stops. It'll take both of us? What? I'll be fine. Seraphin drops his head, swearing to himself. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphin nods. He stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anybody looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand you see a stack of cryo chits. Money! Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Make a plan. You try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need work, that's the first step, but what then? Lane will be coming eventually. The sooner you can put some distance between you and Hexport, the better. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, and run. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. Brother, tutorial, welcome to Citizen Sleeperdos Starward Vector. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies and items, progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section of the pause menu. Use the mouse wheel to control your view. Select locations with left click, right click to leave a location. Game runs in cycles. Yeah, progress clocks towards the new scenes and events. Sure, if you're gonna use clocks as a verb like that. Hang on a second, I'm gonna need some water, and lots of it if I'm gonna be doing this much talking. Let's pour some water. Let's drink some water. Don't like putting the water on my table. In fact, last time I destroyed a keyboard when I dropped my water. So back on the desk behind me. Alright, so what's it? List glitch map Y. Why doesn't it show the mouse keyboard? Connections. Welcome to the character screen. Here you can upgrade and configure your sleeper. On the left you can upgrade your skills to improve the skill modifier applied to your dice when you undertake an action. To the right you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active only while at a hub. I think that's not too bad. Yeah, that's fine. What was this? Drives. I have 24 cryptocurrency. I've got no fuel. And I have 2 supplies. Alright, so we've got Hexport Exchange, Goods Exchange, and Hexport Dock, Busy Way Station Dock. Let's go to the dock so we can scroll like that as well. Yes, it's very familiar now. It was 2 years ago, but it's all coming back to me. So that. The rig is your ship and home in the Starward Belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there is multiple areas you can visit. Bunks, use dice to reduce stress. Galley, use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at the hub, your crew will also help to gather resources and to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew task menu to the left. They have a random chance of acquiring it at the beginning of the following cycle. Sure. You've put some distance between you. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event each cycle. Its completion will trigger significant events. That's right. Yes, that's how it worked before. Gotcha. Odd jobs. You put some distance between you and Lane, but you're sure he'll be starting to close the gap as soon as he's able. Right. Alright, so let's go to the docks. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed at an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information on dice actions, check the guide section of the pause menu. Would you like to know more? So we've got chat to crews, which is risky. There are plenty of crews milling around the docks and moving cargo. They were a good source of info. Or explore the docks. Danger. Hexport's docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage filled with busy spaces. Exploring is both thrilling and intimidating. I don't want to do anything, but Hexport connections. The Hexport docks thrum with life. There are contacts to be made here, you are sure of it. I don't want to... Does this automatically make it go if I put it in? I don't remember. Let's decide what we want to do for. Let's see what's at the exchange. Do first. Let's decide what we're due for. English, motherfucker. Trade scrap. So I'm not an engineer? Right, so that's minus. That's why it's dangerous. Trading scrap is all about identifying materials and cleaning up components. It's an engineer's job more than a trader's. Impress the brokers. The data brokers are at the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing description. Maybe if you can talk the talk. Which I apparently can. Wrong button. Nothing else to look at. So, like, if I were to do a 2 here, I'm gonna go a 4. It's tricky. What's this mean? Push and glitch. It's gonna tell me no. Nothing about what the actual keyboard commands are instead of left trigger. And here, what have we got? We've got odd jobs, scavenge fuel, source supplies. So what if I click on odd jobs? Nothing. Haven't got fuel, so let's go fuel, but how do I... Oh, here we go. Shipboard kitchen. Shipboard sleeping wet. Rig galley. Alright, so make a meal. Well, no. Supplies. Input 1 supplies. I don't want to. I'm fine. Where's, like, what's my health? Is it this? It's this one here, the 3 bars, isn't it? Reduce stress, so plus recovery. No, I'm okay. Alright, I guess we will do our first bit of science on this one. Let's just do a 4. Right, so that'll give me 50% positive, 50% neutral. Or, no, how do I cancel that? But a 5 would give me just positive. I'm gonna do that. Positive outcome, rules of the exchange. You just progressed a clock. Clocks track your progress towards both positive and negative events and can be filled by performing actions passing a cycle. Yeah, so it's, yeah, I remember that. You need to progress all these clocks. Did I get anything else? And what was here? It could be a good source of info. So why don't we connect this one too? Expert at new location discovered. Nice. We found the bar, the Ben's chaotic dockside bar. Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give different amount of energy. Plastic bag flash fried. A space gambling. Oh, we've got to try. We've got a gambler, right? Nah, don't like it. Don't like it. I forget how the dice get redone. We found a trade hall as well. So we can buy fuel for 5 cryo. Supplies. I'm gonna... Oh, I see. I have to go like this. Ah, alright. I'm just gonna... I just want to have 1 fuel at least. There we go. In case it's needed for something. I don't know what. And now I don't know how you move on. It's here, isn't it? Oh, here. Where does it... Oh, it's just here that says end cycle. So do I feel like I've done enough? Should I use all the dice, though? I wonder if I should. What's this gonna... Nah, it's not, I'm not liking the chances. I don't want... Oh, that's just positive and neutral. Right, so this... I've forgotten that as well. Yeah, alright, hang on. I keep pressing the wrong things. So if that's plus, it's going to give... This will be worth a 5. And this will be worth a 3, yeah. So let's use our 4 and see what that does for us. Neutral outcome. So let's use our other 4. I don't like using negative. I don't like getting negative outpoints. That's, I remember that. There we go. So we've actually done all of the exchange here. Which is pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. And we've... Oh, so that means we've now found another thing. Another canteen. Eat at the canteen. No, I'm alright. I don't need to eat. I'm not dying here. Not yet, anyway. What does this mean? I haven't really understood this. Alright, so I'm plus interface. I'm negative on engineer. And endure. But I'm also neutral on those two. Gotcha. Vaguely rings a bell. Alright, should we just gamble with our 2? I just want to science this. What would negative look like here? It was neutral anyway. Gave me money. You've used all your dice for this cycle. You need to end the cycle at your ship, the rig, to re-roll them. Gotcha. So you do re-roll all the dice. That's answered my question. End cycle. We're in trouble, Sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you are getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphim inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the 0G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Seraphim shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air, and before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise, he shakes his head. It would have been bad. But he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it? Seraphim sighs. That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed of lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try and track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphim keeps working. Wait, Seraphim pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. Shit. Shit! You said it, Seraphim sighs, which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try and work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. Me either, buddy. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphim's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. Gotcha. New drive. You have discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. The arrow button on the top left opens the drive menu where you can choose which drive to track. Once a drive is tracked, a yellow marker will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. Drives come in two major types, major and minor. On completion of a major drive, rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available and track those you want to pursue. Oh, I see. This is a chance per cycle. So when I put it on fuel, and this would give cryo, and this would give supplies. Right, well, we still, fuel's our lowest thing. So we want to escape Hexport. Lane is hunting you, and Hexport isn't far from Darkside. Refuel, repair, find what you need, and then leave before he finds you. Find a ship fitter. Nice. We're tracking. We're tracking. New location discovered. Down here, alright. We've got a 6 and a 5. That's pretty good. So let's see. Search the row. The factory owners of the row speak mostly in terms of supply and demand, but going door to door might help you find the ship fitter you need. Haul materials. Factory rows filled with workers hauling material through zero-G corridors. Helping might win you some fans among the factories. And so we need 4 clocks. The Hexport factories are picky about who they work with. Trust is the key currency here if you want to find a ship fitter. So let me see. What would 2 give us? Nope. I'm gonna have to go a 5. What? And then 6 would give 100%. I mean, this is the main thing for the time being, so let's do that. Nice. New location discovered. Just gonna go the 5. I think neutral just moves it on once, doesn't it? Let's fail this roll. Roll failed. Beautiful. You'll love to see it. So what's new? Swift scrapped soul. Material processing. Paid. All scrapyards have paid data defusal work to offer, as old tech tends to be laced with protocols and countermeasures that need disabling. Sell raw scrap? Where do I get scrap from? Right, input dice. Okay, I think we're gonna use our... so there's that. Where else can I eat? What was this? Trade hall. That gives me fuel, and it fills fuel. That gives me supplies, and that fills supplies. Gotcha. No, that's going to be neutral at best, and I don't know what negative does, so... Alright, do we just waste our die on... Right, so this is 7 cryo for some food. Hang on, what was the other one? This one is 13 cryo. Let's waste some cryo for some food. Right, that gave me 2. So I'm guessing the other one would give me 3 or 4, perhaps even 4 now, for slightly cheaper. Let's play some dice. I want to see what happens when I get a negative. If I get a neutral. Alright, this will give me a negative for sure, surely. Right, so I lost 4. Yeah, I gained 5, so I'm up 1. 50-50. Nice. Cool. That's that day done. Oh, I've got something else now. Right, so I need to put an item in there. Gotcha. That's cool. We'll keep with the fuel. Got 3 fuel? That's not bad, man. Let's do supplies then next. We got a nice 5 there, which we can probably use here. 3 gonna get me? Nah. Going straight to the 5. Nice. Well, I only need a neutral. I mean, that's a 75% chance of moving it on. Watch this. Watch me hit the 25% chance. Neutral is good. Neutral is good. How does this now move on? There we go. Factory row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Whirring manufactories precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look there is energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amounts of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way because of Darkside. That place in your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it is hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and that wild, flickering cities growing on their back like a tumour. That wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumour. On the back of the reflectors, I suppose, yeah. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them, tubes just like those Seraphim had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Carston's Supply in block capitals cut out from whole plate. There, amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components, sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside, where the sound of Factory Row is a little screened, and spot a large figure working at a bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you. Wait patiently. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. Intimidating shipfitter, Carston. Dude, you've got weird proportions. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Nice place you have. You see little reaction from the profile of Carston's face. He grunts. Something you need? Before you can respond, he tracks your eyes to the feed lines in the window. He looks back at you with a subtly changed expression, one you can't quite place. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Carston's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs then. He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphim should have come along. I think so? Carston squints a little. Right. Look, Carston drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in distinctive monotone, let's say a few hundred cryo on clean chits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say, to be precise. I don't have 400. Carston looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of a bartering type myself anyway. Barter sounds good. Carston nods sagely. There's a little favour I need a crew for, and, well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there, very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it. He shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you, with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. He smiles. I have a special interest, a need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they keep on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So, if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then, I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Carsten pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that. Simple as that, he repeats in his monotone way. So, you interested? He glances back at his workbench. Because I'm a busy man. I'll do it. Alright then, he holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Carsten pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, alright? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates, and then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Carsten having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Carsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach, and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. A contract. Seraphim might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up. You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide she clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry, she smiles a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. Junie, secretive data extractor. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrapers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. Trailing wireless. Trailing wires. Need some more water. In fact, we're not far from an ad, so hang on. Let's pour some water. Have a quick drink. What's up? Carsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Why didn't he tell me? She glances back towards Carsten's. I guess he forgot? He does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after you two were done talking, so... Carsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, she looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship and you can tell me when you're ready to go? Sounds good. Okay, great. Her eyes light up. She notices she still has her hand on your shoulder and takes it off. Junie pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you, she calls back as an afterthought. What about the ship? Oh, I'll find it, she calls back and then disappears down the passage. That sounds like trap. You watch her go, glad of the contract but nervous too. Will Carsten keep up his side of the bargain if you deliver? New local crew available. Alright, we're about to have an ad. I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. God dang, we're back. Sorry about that. The ad, for whatever reason, took forever to start. And then just as I was about to finish, I thought, you know what, really should have taken that time to go to the loo. So I had to go to the loo. Alright, TMI. Where were we? Seraphim. I don't know about this sleeper. Seraphim looks nervously out of the rig's windows as you finish explaining Karsten's deal, as well as Junie's offer her of help. If this job was easy, Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. There's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. I think it's a lucky break. Seraphim gives you a look. No such thing, he sighs. This is the belt. That means someone's getting dicked over in all of this. We just have to make sure it isn't us. What if, Seraphim narrows his eyes, we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines? Why? Karsten wants to barter. You're right, Seraphim sighs. I just can't shake the feeling that we're wandering in blind. It's true. Plus, Seraphim gives you a sly look. I did manage to turn something up in my station wandering. I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards export. We take on a job that might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Karsten's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. I'll take a look. Good, Seraphim nods. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew, too, Seraphim shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Or, we stop messing around. We take Karsten's job right now and get it done before he can think twice, Seraphim yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphim nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection has broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you are floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold onto. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes, and you are back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you'll have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might persevere countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now it feels like it's running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. You have unlocked a contract. Open the map screen to view it. Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. Contracts require preparation and care to succeed. You'll need: gather enough fuel to travel to the contract, gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew going, look for opportunities to recruit crew temporarily or permanently to help you on a contract. Consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Once you are ready, you can select a contract from the map and then your crew to proceed. Karsten is offering you a straight barter for the feed lines you need to bring a data core from this derelict. Any raw scrap you can pull out is yours. Extract data core. If I click on this as a doing the mission, I don't want to. Yeah, no, we're not ready. We're not ready. Complete board contract. Escape. Recruit local crew. Recruit local crew. Why can't I speak today at all? See if we can find a local crew. That's custom, right, okay. Export docs. Chat to crews. What's this gonna do? No. Let's put a 5. Let's do it. New location discovered. The warehouses, freight storage. Yeah, not going to be able to do any of that. Nothing there. Wrong button. How do I... Let's just scroll. Yeah, there we go. Contract board. Okay. They have located a convoy signal. They are concerned to see one so close and are looking for someone to disable its store. This open contract for the Hexport administration requires a fee to be paid to receive the coordinates of the job. I guess, why not? Hexport risky. Fuel -2, supplies minus nothing. Payment 200 cryo. I don't know that I'm ready. Right. So either the data core or if I've managed to get 400. Gotcha. Alright. Do kind of want to science what negative would do. I guess we do it. Let's try science it. I lose energy. But it still moves forward though. That's not bad. Wait, and I got my dice back? Or I had two sitting there already? I'm gonna try again. Bad. We got the connection. As you are gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation, drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. Alright, 75% chance. Cause a distraction. Neutral. You look around for something that could break up the fight and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets randomly bursting into the air. There's a scramble in the alley and you spot the figure who is being attacked drop down to the alley floor. No, don't give me a minus energy. Then your vision instantly fills with pale liquid as a jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you but sending you spinning in 0 G. After a few moments you manage to steady yourself. As you do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. Femi, stubborn salvager captain. I suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You like to break up fights you didn't start. He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. He shifts the large bags on his shoulder, weightless but unwieldy in 0 G. I was helping. The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go, and then, after a moment, he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What's your deal anyway, he sighs. Maybe you are new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. I need help. The man raises his eyebrows. So you look for trouble. He shakes his head. You've got it all wrong. Look, let's not hang around, alright? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out at the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Femi, you bring in strays. Nia, headstrong and spirited salvager. A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. He glances at you. No offense. Nia, Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder, helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flush of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks, she smiles sweetly, and I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance. Just in general. Nia, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you are carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these, Femi hefts the bags. I'm going to load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Now what? Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking, or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you, she looks back at the ship. My brother needs help more than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking, I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath, then gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, you are on Hexport. Maybe you are with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking? I am. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest, being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, all right. You could use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arm across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right. Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi, he makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. New local crew available. Minor drive complete. 1 upgrade point. Right, but first, I want to try the 13 credits. That's all we've got, but let's see how much it gives me. It gave me at least, it gave me 4. Right, there you go. So for 7 you can get 2. For 13 you can get 4. That makes sense. And now I am poor. They have the pause. 1 point available. No dice damage on push reroll. Don't know what that means. Reboot config. Crew stress to reroll your action dice. Plus stress, reroll 1 lowest dice. Where's stress? So everything requires 4. Right, I need to actually have the 4. So I've got 1 point that I can't do anything with. Brilliant. You love to see it. I'm not going to bother using the 2. I think we just... Well, hang on. No, can we do... That's on the map. Hang on, it's on the map. Can we do this? We've got the fuel. It's not asking for supplies. Completing it is a challenge. Get fuel and supplies. Why isn't it telling me how much supplies I need? Confirm vector. Let's give it a go. Select. Ah, I can only have one at a time. So she is skills intuit, I think. Travel to contract. Confirm. This will be interesting. It's a drone. Seraphim spots the signal source first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating. A design trait that betrays its covert use. A flash catches your attention and you see a rent in the hull through which red lights pulse. Wounded, Seraphim shakes his head. Wish they'd finished the job. You've seen one before? Seraphim looks back over his shoulder towards you. We've seen one before, don't you? He sighs. Sorry, I know it's not your fault. He looks at the drone. Lane had us work on one in the dark side bay, though it was barely a shell, disarmed and deactivated. He had us searching through its guts for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and it had its core ripped out. He pushes the ship closer. This one is still live. Conway, Nia kisses her teeth. Corporate scum. You glance over to her and see the fire in her bright eyes. They don't even dare to come here and force us out themselves. It's all proxies and drones. She shakes her head. Typical core-bred cowards. Run into them before? She glances at you. You might say that. She looks out at the drone. You won't see me taking my eyes off that thing for a second. Seraphim carefully glides the ship closer. You watch the drone. The system is full of these things now, running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt though. Maybe got hit during a run-in with a Senate stat mercs. It looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out, but look, there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. It's still broadcasting and maybe even receiving. How do we shut it off? Seraphim brings you ever closer. What I remember from the dark side job is that the central core and the broadcast array need to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems, and the broadcast array will sever the link with the Conway operators. Seraphim swallows. But you can bet those systems are protected. Let Seraphim explain. What was that? What was that? Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running along its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper, he frowns. We go slow and careful, and we don't touch anything we don't know about. He turns back to Nia. You hear that? I gotcha. She looks sincere. Seraphim brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through open space to reach the drone's hull. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare. As you get suited up, you think of the corporate war taking place in the inner system, the war that this drone was driven from. Oh, you remember that, do you? Out here on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is that this flotsam and jetsam drifting in with the tides and orbits of the system might, one cycle, bring the war with it. For now, the belt is outside of its reach, but looking out at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Welcome to your first contract. While on a contract, you'll be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member as you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew's skills and use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will no longer be able to use them to perform actions. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, both you and your crew will take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts also have their own contract stress. When this bar is filled, the contract will fail. Good luck. What? What? So they've got die. He's got a 4 and a 1. How am I supposed to remember what these icons are? That's engage, that's intuit, interface, and engineer. So he's what? Who knows? Why can't I hover over this to find out what? Alright. So. Expose drone interior access. Right. I see. The only thing with a plus here is this one. Alright, so that's just rubbish then. I've got plus me. Reprogram hatch. With the drone in such a reactive state, ready to fry itself in defense, perhaps reprogramming the hatch to open up your crew would be a better solution. No, what about a 4? No, wait, what about a 3? Nah, I don't like it. There we go. Start action. Okay. Don't get it. This was 50, oh no, positive neutral as well. Not bad, but this will have negative, yeah. So do I just use this because I've got it? I guess so. But yeah, like, I mean, she's got a 5. What would that do? No, that puts it down to a 3. Don't like that at all. So, who's green? She's green. So if I do that... Don't see why not. What's he gonna get? Nah, neutral negative. Don't like that. But over here. Do I take the risk? I guess so. Gonna blow us up. Positive. Straight into positive. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll make it legal. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Why wouldn't I just do it on the other one then? When I've got a positive. Shit. Shit, how do I, oh, here. End cycle. Not too bad, not too bad, pretty good. Alright, well, not great, but, you know, anyway. Start back on this one, where I can do my best work. Stick with the lower ones. Yay, neutral, yay, neutral. It's not going to be enough. Damn it. Yeah, I guess I just vom. And we'll... While on contract, you can use your push ability to give you an edge in a tricky situation. Pushing accrues 1 stress, but will give you a key advantage based on your chosen class. You can see your current push configuration if you hold your mouse over the button and on the character screen. Your push can be upgraded and configured in the character screen when not on a contract. +1 stress, re-roll 1 lowest dice. Where is stress rigged to blow? That's just stress for me. You just gain some stress. As your stress increases, you will have a higher chance of taking damage to your action dice each time you roll them. Fine, but you know, that's what we wanted. Boom. Control access. We've arrived. You hear the bleeping immediately. Among the chambers and cabling of the drone's interior, something has started counting down. Guys, Nia's voice comes hissing through the suit's comm channel. Does anyone else hear that? Because I'm getting nervous. Shit, Xeraphon voice joins her. This is what I was worried about. Are we screwed? I can't be sure. Seraphim has dropped his voice to a whisper as if that might make a difference. Either this thing is about to send out a distress call or it's about to blow. We've got to shut down this system down fast. He pauses. Then we move on to the other side because I bet you there's a surprise waiting for us there too. We good? Neo sounds tense. I'm heading back to the ship, or what? Am I heading back to the ship or what? Seraphim cuts in. We're good. We keep going. He shuts off the channel. You take a moment in the silence. Alright, time to deal with this fast and then get over the other side before something happens. New location discovered. Control system. Core drone systems. Disconnect backup. Right, so I've got 3 cycles before this. And how do I know whether it's going to do drone death or core disabled? Can I do another push? So it's once per cycle, I suppose. We've got a positive one here where she can do that for sure. Boom. Let me watch me now. Do I risk this? It's only one more. I guess so. God damn it. Neo. You suck. This isn't going to help, is it? Nope. I think we need to... I don't know why I would do this, to be honest. I just wouldn't. Alright, next cycle. Got 3 cycles to disable the core. Why can I get to the kitchen and whatnot? I have to make myself a meal. What used the supplies? My push, was it? You've used all your energy and are now starving. While starving, you gain 1 stress per cycle and then energy lost to stress. Eat to regain... Oh, well, I haven't got any supplies. Gotcha. Gotcha, I understand now. Would have been good to know that earlier. Alright, let's go for a neon. Sure. I think that's all we need. Core disabled. We still need to get in here? Well, that's a bit sad if you ask me. So, I just needed more supplies. Right, gotcha. If only I had known that. Right, so we're just going to be gaining stress then. Honestly, God, wish he wasn't on 2 though. That's rubbish. Wait, I could almost do... No. That's not great either, is it? Why did I do that on this one? Beautiful. Gonna take the risk. Nice. Need 3 more stress. Didn't do much of a re-roll. Really? 25%. Losing rolls. Left, right and center. Nothing's changed with this game. God damn. Alright, next cycle. Gonna be close, I think. Gonna die. We're all gonna die. You have taken damage to a dice because of stress. When your dice are rolled at the start of the cycle, your stress dictates if you take damage or not. Higher stress means a higher chance of damage. The white markers above the stress bar will tell you which numbers would damage your dice when rolled. Each dice have 3 dice health. When this is depleted, the dice will break and must be repaired to be used normally. The markers above the stress bar show which dice rolls will damage the dice. Right, okay. Big bunks location, gotcha. Sure. Sure, but I think we're pretty good here. That's quite the attack we've got going. What's he gonna give there? No. Ah, I keep pressing back. Nah, that's not where I wanted to go. Here's where I wanted to go. Alright, let's do a 3 question mark? No. Let's do a 5. Fine. That was positive. That was actually a waste. I should have used her one. No, that was positive. That's the best we could have done. Yeah. No, instead of... I'll use her 5. Which is a guaranteed 6. So I just realised I'm not in a great spot for this part now. So what if I move to here? We'll see how that deals with the riding later on. So we should be done. New location discovered. Hack broadcast. Drone death. Ah, gotcha. How come this didn't... We did a... anyway, don't know. So we need 3. Yeah, no. Yep. Press the wrong button. Nice. Do I... No, I guess I just stick with me. We do the full power and hope that we don't need to do something else after this. Drone death. The thrumming, pulsing interior of the drone goes still for the first time since you boarded it. You look across at Seraphim and Nia and share a smile. You all exhale so loudly it can be heard over the suit's shared comm channel. The drone is dead. One less piece of Conway shit to worry about, Nia grins. We killed it. Don't get too excited, Seraphim cuts in. It was looking pretty rough when we got here. You make your way back out to the hole, the drone now faintly rolling in one direction. It stabilizes offline. Nia catches up with you as you glide towards the rig. We make a pretty good crew, Sleeper. We do. Nia grins widely. She punches you on the arm playfully. Ow! You reach the rig's airlock and take one last look at the drone's dark hole. It catches the light as it rolls in the vacuum. At some point in the near future, this drone will likely be smashed to pieces by one of the many asteroids of the belt spread across this place as twinkling dust. The thought pleases you. As does the thought of all that cryo Hexport now owes you. Time to go collect. Contract complete. The contract is concluded. You can leave via the map. You can now travel back to the hub. Once you leave, you will not be able to return. After docking at Hexport, Seraphim lets go of the controls and leans back in his chair. Nia leans over to you. Thank you, Sleeper, she stretches. I know you took a chance on me. Glad to have you. Nia smiles an infectious smile. Feels good to make a contract work, Seraphim smiles, no matter how we pull it off. It's hard not to agree, and it feels better when the Hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chits. Lane may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort to slip his net. Suddenly, you hear a familiar voice. Nia! Remy glides into view, approaching from the docks. He fixes you with a stare. What are you playing at, Sleeper? Nia wanted to come. You go to speak, but Nia drifts forward, cutting you off. Don't come throwing your weight around, Femi. I can make my own decisions. She glances back at you. Sleeper took me at my word, and I'm grateful. Femi is fuming. Did they know? He turns to you. Well, if you're working for Sleeper, I hope they paid you well. Nia looks away. Well, I asked, so... Femi smiles. Oh, so they aren't paying you. Seraphin crosses his arms. Let's keep this civil. He realizes this is the first time he is meeting Femi. If we are being civil, seems like Nia is owed her share. Femi fixes you with a severe look. Pay Nia a share. You grab around a quarter of the chits from the lockbox and hold them out to Nia. She takes them sheepishly. Alright then, Femi smiles. We're good here. He turns to leave. Nia mouths a sorry and follows Femi across the docks. Seraphin watches them go. You sure know how to pick 'em, sleeper. He shakes his head. He turns away and heads back along the docking bridge. I just hope we aren't going to end up a stack of cryos short when we need to get out of here. You gotta pay your crew, motherfucker. You just completed a drive and earned an upgrade point. You have push upgrades available. Go to the character screen to the right of the UI to see them. 2 points available. So, no dice damage on push reroll. Reroll +1 dice. Doesn't sound too bad. But you just get to pick one, right? 2 stress if reroll 6. I'm gonna go this one. Boom. Get a couple of rerolls going on. Reroll random dice, but +1 rolled. What? Alright, 150 buckaroonies. Let's make sure we get some food in. Alright, that'll have to do. We haven't got a drive selected, so we need the feed line still. No, we're gonna need to... Alright, so... We haven't got fuel. What does this give? Oh, that's scrap. Alright, so it'll give money for scrap. So this thing here... Yeah, alright, no. Not what we need for the time being. Any contracts? No. Right, so buy fuel. Yeah, boom. And buy supplies. Boom. And in fact, back on the ship here, then we'll go to odd jobs. We need cryo. But do I even care about that? Am I just ready to go and do this then? I've got full everything. I think we do. And we have to select her. See what happens. Lots of gear. I don't know how to fix my dice. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. Tell you what, looks to me like I can go even further like this. Down a bit. There we go. Sure. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watch it in horror and fascination as Seraphin completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now, as you settle beside it, Seraphin is the first to break the silence. This thing is already dead, he shakes his head. It's a corpse, sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touch this thing too hard, it'll crumble into dust. Let's not do that. Seraphin does a little mock salute. Aye aye, he rolls his eyes. Any other tips? Take us up there, that's the bridge. Junie points towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphin turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't said a word since you departed. Glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stopped pointing. Seraphin nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. Let's assess the wreck first. Junie settles silently back into her seat. She looks away out of the cockpit and you're unsure if she's upset or just embarrassed. Carefully, Seraphin brings the ship close to the derelict and guides it along the hull. The rig's lights ripple over the broken surface, finding gaps and cracks everywhere. It seems remarkable that the derelict is still held together. Shit! Oh, I thought it used my fuel all at once, but no, it was 3 fuel, wasn't it? Seraphin hisses a huge spinning piece of debris shifts in front of the cockpit. He pushes the rig down beneath it, squeezing between the debris and the hull, and as he does so, an ear-splitting screech signals the rig scraping across the derelict's skin. That's what we just discussed, Seraphin! You freeze for a moment, waiting for the breach sirens to sound, but the moment passes and you relax. You glance at Seraphin. His face betrays no emotion. This isn't safe, Seraphin shakes his head. I'm going to find somewhere better to settle the ship, and then we need to suit up and work our way along the hull on foot. You look back at Junie and see her still in her seat either. You okay? Junie looks at you and there's a sudden unfamiliar hardness in her eyes that surprises you. And a moment later it is gone and her gaze softens. I'm okay, she smiles a flat smile. Don't worry. Seraphin brings the ship away from the derelict's hull an inch at a time, then slowly brings it round to settle close to a mostly intact hull plate. This section is fairly free of debris. He nudges the ship a little closer. We should be good to hold here. Seraphin unclips from his seat and you and Junie follow suit. As you all glide down towards the airlock, Junie silently follows. You can't help but feel judged. As you reach the airlock, Seraphin begins suiting up. If we are lucky, that little collision hasn't started a cascade that will end with this place coming apart under our feet. Seraphin violently kicks his legs into a set of EVA trousers, clearly irritated by his own carelessness. It wasn't your fault. Seraphin shooks you a look. Fault isn't going to matter when we're floating off into the black. This is a delicate job, Junie says quietly, almost to herself. The data core will be fragile. She casts a furtive glance in the direction of you and Seraphin. Very fragile. Understood. Junie nods appreciatively. The rest of the preparation process takes place in tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too, though you don't need a helmet to breathe. You slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of wreck here and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Got it. Alright, hang on. I need to refill the water glass. The water glass is refilled. And a quick drink. Okay, derelict stress, still decaying ruin. We've got exclamation marks there. Alright. So, corroded airlock bridge entry. Wrong button. Ah, yes, the scroll. And then we've got depressurized bay cargo entry. I am very tempted to just go in here. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so we've got 4. Alright, well let's go. Let's just do it. Boom. And I can take a risk. I don't want to take a risk. Do I want to have, no, I can't do any better than that anyway. That's my highest fucking number. I pressed the wrong button. Everyone's negative. Could do him again. Better. You know what? I'm going to re-roll. I'm going to re-roll. There we go. That's what we wanted. Boom. Just to be sure. Boom. We've gotten into the cargo. Crushed cargo bays. Map the bays. Valuable scrap. This should be, yeah, positive or neutral. Nice. I'm gonna get our scrap going first. Come on, big bucks, no whammies. Neutral. You've got to be kidding me. Although, boom. Good work, Junie. Well, okay then. Another location. Do I risk it for the biscuit? I'm risking it. The contract stress has triggered a crisis. Crisis will add 1 contract stress per cycle unless resolved at the crisis location. Good work, mate. You had 75% chance, but you hit the 25%. You suck. Crisis. We haven't got anything. We haven't got anything. Oh my god. Alright, so we're gonna have to do the next cycle. Wait, hang on. Just quickly check the bridge. Have we got a plus green? Nope. She is useless completely on this. Alright, I'm also useless. Yeah, not risking it. Can't risk it. End cycle. Give me some better bloody die. Okay, we need to sort this out. It's not good for me. Well, at least he got 2 5s. No way, you have the worst RNGesus, my friend. The worst. Smashed it. Now you smash it. Like, we could have done better than that, surely. Oh, I can't. There's no point. You have to just do it the next cycle when he's got some more, stuff. Really? He's, again, the only one who can do anything. Fuck. Alright, well, I guess we're, again, he's the only one of any use here, almost. Fuck off with your neutral bullshit. This is rubbish. Okay, again neutral, but that's still doing derelict stress. Thanks very much. Best we can do here. Yay! The first positive this entire run. Alright, so she's completely useless on, unless this is green. Oh no, alright, she's not too bad. I kinda have to, don't I? Thank God. Thank God for that. Alright, next cycle. This is a debacle. 100% a debacle. A new... what? Oh, now we've got 3 crises? Gotcha. And she's rolled 1. Fuck off. I'm gonna have to go. Yay, neutral, yay. Gonna have to reboot. Give me something good. I suppose that's better than nothing. He's got a 6, but it's not gonna be enough. Gonna end up being a 4. This one. Alright. Yeah, hang on. And what's the other one? All of us. None of us are an engineer. Oh, this is ridiculous. We're doomed. We're absolutely doomed. Alright, well. Gonna have to do that. We push through. Nice. Nice. I'm no good. She's no good. Yep. I mean, it's gonna put her at 2. Nope. It's not worth it. Couldn't you have had some better rolls? Couldn't you have some better rolls? Alright. Can we do anything anywhere else? Not without causing stress. I think we're gonna have to reload next cycle. Oh, what? There is a horrifying... Why did going to the new cycle do 3 damage? You are sent spinning through the bay you were crossing in a hail of debris. You watch as the side of the bay silently tears open in front of you, a gaping black maw toothed with flying debris. You stare into it, your breath heavy in your ears, your eyes wide. Suddenly you feel a tug on your back. Your tether! As you spin back from the sudden arrest of your glide, you see Seraphim holding onto the other end, reeling you towards him. We have to go, Sleeper. His voice comes urgently over the comms channel. This place is done. You both make your way up through the splitting derelict in silence, charting a path through what was once passages but are now twisted tubes like the intestinal tracts of some dead creature, to be continued after the break. Alright, alas it seems we have failed, although we had every chance. It was just, of course, typical RNGesus bullshit. And destroy some dead creature. Eventually you make it out onto the surface and find the rig still tethered but gashed with debris and scars. You and Seraphim exchange concerned glances. We are going to pay for this, he looks over the damage. Let's hope she still flies. You tether together and push off from the hull, Seraphim guiding you through the debris. Below you, the derelict is exploding in slow motion, tearing apart into a swarm of razor-edged shards. All this and no core, Seraphim fumes. Now the rig's torn up too. You don't have much to offer in answer. He's right. It seems the job was a disaster. You just hope it isn't terminal. It's gone. Jumi's voice comes through faintly over the comms. She must already be on the ship. The whole ship is falling apart. No shit, Seraphim answers back. Contracts are bust. What a waste, Junie says quietly, and then the channel clicks off. You arrive at the rig's airlock and you're the one who had 2 1s. You arrive at the rig's airlock and bundle yourself inside, noticing the exterior damage. It looks mostly superficial, but it will no doubt take its toll on the ship. Once you are back in the cockpit, you look out at the derelict's shattered form. It seems you will be its last visitors. So, because I had 3 crises, it was +3 per cycle. Gotcha. And yet there was nothing I could do about that. Literally nothing. I mean, I guess I could go back and look and see where maybe I made a mistake somewhere. I don't really feel like I did. Disasters. As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. I need to speak to both of you. On the journey back, you noticed a change in Junie, a hardening, and now she seems very different from the nervous hacker you first brought with you. I know we failed to extract the core, Junie sighs, but I wanted to be honest with you about why I came to you. I don't work for Karsten, perhaps that was obvious, and I didn't want to bring him the core. You and Seraphim exchange glances. You would have taken it? She looks away. I don't know, Sleeper. Yes, perhaps I would have, but I also would have spoken to you, explained myself. Do you know how many of those cores are left intact? Junie suddenly looks gripped by emotion. Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them, like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on this system? This station and most of the other habitats of the belt are built on a Solheim foundation. She frowns, yet we are too busy scavenging them to make the time to look for answers. Men like Karsten want nothing but the raw materials of cores like the one we lost. She shakes her head. We can do better. We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology and build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She meets your eye. We could see beyond survival, towards something else. You have never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you, mourning a data core, is the real Junie. Not that it matters, she glances away. It's all lost now. Keep your honesty, Seraphim cuts in. It's worthless to us. He completes the landing protocols and begins shutting the rig's engines off. We don't have time for confessions. Junie looks crestfallen. Karsten won't come for you if that's what you're worried about. He's ignorant and stubborn, but he isn't vengeful. That's not what we're worried about, Seraphim gives her a pointed loose. Explain to Junie. You tell Junie about the feed lines Karsten has, about you and Seraphim fleeing something, and that you can't run any further without them. Junie nods along, her eyes darting back and forth as if trying to calculate something in her mind. Seraphim turns to you. If you have any bright ideas on how to get those feed lines, now would be the time, Sleeper. There's another way, Junie interrupts. I could help you steal the feed lines. She stares at both of you with determination. We could do it together. Seraphim looks at you with raised eyebrows. It seems he's noticing the change in Junie too. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. He looks at Seraphim. You seem tough, she shrugs. We can do it. Why help? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what to say he won't just raise the price. Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphim is watching her closely. Even if we do take you at your word, which, given everything, seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me, she pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Karsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphim sighs. I don't like it, he pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? I like it. Alright then, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out, meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We'll keep it simple. Clean. Clean, with an M. Clean. Simple is good. Agreed, Seraphin cuts in. His dark look betrays his concerns. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we are in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward Belt ever runs smoothly. No, it doesn't, I'm afraid. Alright, so we're doomed, basically. We're doomed, we're doomed, we're doomed. We've got 4 cycles to get this done. Junie's unit. Junie needs help to create a backdoor into Karsten's security systems. Okay. Right, yeah, well, we don't have the money, we don't have anything. This is all that we've got available to us. So, let's try a 4. Yes. We just go straight to the 6s. 1, 2, well, hang on, yeah, let's just do a 6. Or even a 5. See how many that gives us on a positive. Just 2, alright, great. Thought I had 2 6s. I did not. Beautiful. Karsten cracked. The sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him, she shouts you a look. Karsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping protocol now. I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Nice work. Hold on, we aren't there yet. It's coming up now. Seems Karsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. She frowns. What are all these layers of... A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit! 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 Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing the port. We need... Another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. We've been kicked out. She is rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager's shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. Maybe you peeked in the wrong corner? She looks over at you. It seems so. I think our friend Karsten is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead in thought. Wait, her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. Mapping protocol did enough, she points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. I wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trawls, it looks like. Copies of old drives he found. Could just be a load of data left over from salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. She smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it's probably a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim's secrets. She giggles at the idea. Junie pulls a thumbnail drive out of one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Interface. Identify the program. Neutral. You watch the code spilling across the screen and notice the addresses from the node map being marked and logged. It appears to be some kind of exploratory program. A ripper worm, perhaps. But why would Junie want the data from Karsten's network? Water! Too much talking. You glance at Judy and notice she's watching you carefully. I can see you following along, but trust me, you haven't seen one of these before. It's a Katzenjammer, CAT for short. Basically, it takes a network map, finds the weaknesses, and when you hook it up, blasts the network with so much network noise and raw data that it becomes unusable. She smiles to herself. Any tech connected gets a killer headache. I built it to take the remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had one too many close calls. Sounds perfect. She nods. I agree. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over. The cat head sticker on it catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We've still lost access, of course. Judy turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map, but there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Carstens. Slot the cat in there and we should be able to find a back door. What are we waiting for? Nothing, but she looks away. This isn't going to be quiet, she squints. His whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. Seraphine's voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well, Junie pauses, looking between the two of you. It's our best option. Seraphine narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scramble security and make the grab? Junie looks away. I can monitor how it goes down remotely, from here or the ship. Seraphine gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. Trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile. Thanks, she starts to pack up her deck, but I'll find somewhere else to work from, close to the ship but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you are ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you're back at the ship, I'll be there. She glances down. Don't leave without me. She shoots Seraphine another look and then slips out of the unit. Seraphine watches her go, then turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. We better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. I'll be ready. Seraphine nods silently. I'll be at the ship preparing the engine. We need to be ready to hit the lines as fast as we possibly can. Fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. He meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. He puts a hand on your shoulder, and don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. Katzenjammer. Katzenjammer. Am I likely to need... Should I do this next cycle? I guess we're gonna find out. Katzenjammer. Boom. Security hacked. You slide the worm into the cratered Solheim port, and noise from Carsten's shop immediately catches your attention. Carsten's place is locked up for the cycle, shutter down, alarms on, the denizens of Factory Row snaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks for an entry point into Carsten's system. You think of Junie tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphine deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it. A pulsating white noise spluttering and then screaming out of Carsten's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment, you are stunned into stillness. People stop in the street, then turn to look as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. Now or never. Rush or engage. Approach carefully. Rush inside. I guess carefully. Neutral. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing, while others look concerned. You confidently push past them and glide inside, without looking back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise, and the flickering lights make it hard to concentrate, but you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphim, better be ready. You better be ready, Seraphim. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realize you recognize the voice. Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder guiding you towards the bridge. I'm with you now. She shoots you a glance. What a show, huh? She laughs nervously. It was certainly loud. She smiles a little. Wish I could have seen the cat in action. You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not reached the port yet. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine room, the feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphim is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh, and on the run from two different people now. He grabs the feed lines. I'll take it from here. He quickly excuse me. Hang on, water. He quickly... why can't I speak without whistling? Please stop. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about you make yourself useful rather than just making me nervous, Seraphim says without looking up from his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and Junie glance at each other. Both of you, now, Seraphim calls out. The two of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Carsten, coming up the docking bridge, fast. Close the airlock. Positive outcome. Your hands dance across the controls, inputting the closure sequence in seconds. The door hisses and closes before Carsten even makes it to the end of the bridge. You catch one glimpse of his retreating figure before the docking bridge's shutters scissor close. God, they love their alliteration, whoever wrote this, blocking him from view. You hear a clunk as the clamps disengage. You are free. Seraphim rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in. You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphim punches in the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport, Seraphim's hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. God, feel the force of the thrusters firing. Why is there so much alliteration? We're out of here. Hexport gets fucked. Export. Escaped Hexport before Lane finds you. 60 achievement points. What the? Seraphim's quiet question. Quiet question, why? Interrupts your thoughts as the rig cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out of visual range, its glinting lights now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Which is why Seraphim's muttering is worrying you. More trouble? Seraphim turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport. Some kind of evac order? He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper. The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Lane. I know you are there. A hissing port. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphim glances at you confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second here, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulder nervously. They are warning people to alter their course away from the station. You are slipping away, a squawk of noise, but we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper, a sharp intake of breath. After all, my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me? At least we're heading away, Seraphim interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there, Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper, you hear Seraphim calling, but you don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphim. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphim. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphim through you. Tension flickers in his eyes. Fear? A hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Pain. Unknown, a vast and dark interior. Why are these squiggling? Why are you squiggling? Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You are floating, so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers, and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself on your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. You are alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You are alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember, an overwhelming numbness, and below it an insipid animated force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. What happened? You search back and remember only Seraphim's shouts, and the sudden acceleration of the rig, and then darkness. A chill runs through you. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. The entering figure jumps up as they see you are awake. You're up! They hesitate in the doorway. Bliss, trouble repair technician. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right, we didn't meet. They glance back out of the doorway as if looking for help. I'm Bliss, they shrug, not sure what to add. Your crew are out, sorry. They brought you here. Here? Right, they nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much I know. We are in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah, they smile sympathetically. In the belt. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe, don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in zero-G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. So, what happened? Your ship, Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense they are holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laugh to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphim's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't start fussing over me, Sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to the Seraphim's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainly looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphim glares in their direction. Here, Seraphim pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch! He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. What are you paying them for? Seraphin laughs. Who do you think put the rig back together? Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphin nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down to the corridor. With Blitz gone, silence descends on you and Seraphin, both of you unsure what to say. What happened? What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. A transmission. Seraphin looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Export is... He clears his throat. It's gone, he flinches. What do you mean, gone? It's gone. Seraphin catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you have just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row, Carston, gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw Sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arm, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. Managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an auto wash. Auto wash! He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Would it be to do with us? Seraphin shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine, he squints. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run Darkside. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. Junie, what was Cat? You blew it up. You both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? Seems like it, he looks away. At least that shockwave would have burned our trail out of the belt for now. We already owe Bliss for all the work that they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work, fuel, supplies, and we need to make sure you are okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport or what's left of it. He looks away. The fast spindle was way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here are run differently to Darkside, so for now, we have freedom. Seraphin sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble. That is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. I want to explore this place. The fast spindle, there's plenty to see. This is a free station. No one faction holds control, so it's quite the circus. Just watch your step out there. Seraphin pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you're gonna need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lips. I'm sorry. Don't be. Seraphin nuts. Thanks, Sleeper. He turns away. I'm going to take the rest on the rig. I'm wiped. I'm going to take our rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Dwell on them. Could it have been Conway, a drone, or mine drifting starward? Senate stat, perhaps. or some plan to weaken the belt, or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? Or could it have been Junie? The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now export's loss will be felt all across the Starward belt. But what does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate apparent. Those must come first. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. You have gained some glitch. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear one level of glitch. A glitch dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and 20% chance of a positive outcome. What? So it's just a bad dice? New drive available. You find Junie in the airlock, her small collection of things crammed into her bag. What I need to find is more water. My throat is... well, it's not killing me, but it's itchy. Itchy throat, man. Water. What do you do with an itchy throat, man? I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphim says you're okay, so... That's okay. She smiles. Thank you, Sleeper. I'm glad you're feeling better. While you were out, she pauses, the concern for you obvious. I was doing some digging. It seems that core, the Solheim one, isn't the only one out there. I'm going to keep looking to find another one. I'm not giving up. She takes a breath. But I'm going alone. I understand. Yeah, she nods. It makes sense. Good luck, Sleeper, and tell Seraphim goodbye for me. What are you chasing? She freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses. I know there's value, true value in that data, Sleeper. I know it, and she pauses again, unsure of herself. I have a project to continue, one I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time. She smiles weakly, closing up again. Well, she rubs the back of her neck. See you around, space cowboy. You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel and into the fast spindle with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Maybe she's gonna blow up the place. Explore fast spindle. Busiest station. Find potential crew. What do we got? Alright, okay. Let's see here. Oh my god. So much stuffs. Oh, you've got an airlock breach or something. What's all this crap? Alright, I guess we start at the beginning. Bliss's Bay. Struggling repair business. Wait, how do you fix the bad die? What do we... It probably doesn't matter. You know, let's just stick with cryo there. Right, so that's food. I don't need food. That would be reduced stress, but how do I fix the die? Is it just damaged forever? The rig is mostly patched up, but Bliss wants a few more cycles to run final tweaks, so that's just a clock. Okay, alright, well we'll look down here. The Underhang, growing shanty town. Help the residents. Underhang residents couldn't afford to rent further up, so they came here to build their own units. They are always in need of repair work. Wander the Underhang. The Underhang grew organically, unit after unit built onto each other by refugees and new residents. This makes it a tough place to just explore. No life beneath. Many residents of the fast spindle live in the ramshackle Underhang. not an easy place to learn to navigate. Please navigate. The Spindle Core, bustling Spacer Commons. Explore the core. From wide transit tunnels to labyrinthine corridors, all the passages of the spindle seem to pass through the core. Chat to crews. Spacer crews are a constant presence in the core. If you want tips on crew and contracts, we might as well ask them. Or the spindles where crews and freelancers mix, travelers rest and resupply, and business gets done. And Pinnacle Docks. Roam the docks. Looking around the Pinnacle Docks without getting in someone's way is hard. It takes fortitude to explore among the chaos. Study the manifests. With so much freight flying around, it seems safer to cozy up with a terminal and study the manifests to learn this place. Really? So just glitching is horrible. Anyway, might as well start up here. We've got 2 of these that we can do. Gonna do 2. New location discovered. As you glide through the Pinnacle Docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. Faces, workers of the fast spindle, we need your urgent assistance. The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring. He takes a breath. All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo. Without this water, Fast Spindle will struggle to support you. He looks desperately at the crowd. Please, any of you who are able to help, please make yourself known. Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. Dang! Water hauler that has arrived at the fast spindle needs help to secure its payload. Let's do it! Reroute the flow. A tech team from the dock authority are working to reroute the flow of Springtide's water, saving as much as possible from leaking out into space. Or repair the leaks. Well, we can do one of these. No map either. But these are just useless. I don't see any reason to use the glitch ones at all. Rig damaged. And what the fuck am I going to do with a 1? Yeah, like, negative, I don't want to do negative actions. Alright, well, I guess we're finishing the cycle. One glitch, a 6, a 4, and a 2 and a 1. That's rubbish. That's rubbish. Too much RNGesus on this. There really is. Alright. Try this one. Nice. Get a free one here. Why can't I re-roll on the station? On the oldie hub. Gonna take a risk. Nice. No. 50%. Alright. Next day then. We've used all our shit. Nice. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry, they look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backwards. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the door frame. Sorry, I'm just a little jumpy. I get it, Bliss looks down. Didn't mean to wake you. Takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you'd never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, Sleeper. Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at a stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are the repairs coming? Bliss spins deftly, hooking their legs into the open ceiling so that from your perspective they're hanging upside down. Almost done, if you can believe it. Their messy hair floats around their head. A couple of cycles worth of diagnostics, and I'll be happy enough to release her back to you. A yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchange amused look. What? Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards and hunts some for breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they have disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I have something I want to show you. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with a low slope ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage, and a workbench set into the wall. Look, Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and good at repairs, they smile, and I think you have need of me. They glance at you, and a tear in the thick vinyl skin of... They glance at you at a tear... What is happening here? They glance at you at a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? Okay. They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. What's happened over here? Sorry, something's distracting me. Let me just fix that. Excellent. They reach over to the workbench and take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they're done, they release your arm and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See, they smile. I know it's more serious than a tear. Bliss folds their arms, but I can handle it. You need repairs? Bring me some components to work with. Best quality you can find. The better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Thank you. Don't worry about it, they shrug. You are a guest in my bay and I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing, now can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable. Bliss smiles. I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Dice repair is now available. I was wondering about that. Visit the rig workshop above. Well, I scratched my ear. Hang on. Put that away. There we go. Make repairs. Acquire some components. You can repair your dice at the rig workshop. You can only repair dice which are fully broken. Repairs require either scrap components or rare components. The better components you use, the less glitches you will suffer. You cannot repair dice during a contract. The workshop is empty and dark. Bliss can only repair fully broken parts and not while on a contract. Oh, right. So, dice repair and then improvised dice repair. What? What does it mean? Let's see. We've got, let's go scavenge fuel. Let's go scavenge fuel. Alright, so we need to continue trying to save these nerds. Or the water, at least. If the nerds need saving. Yeah, we'll try that one. Boom. Minor drive complete. 1 upgrade a point. You watch from the docking bay's viewing window as the crumpled, vast hull of the Springtide is finally welded shut by a score of bright torches flickering against its side. Everywhere I look, I see crisis. The voice comes from beside you, and you turn to see a man floating there, watching the repair work. You don't recognize him. Malik, an experienced water hauler captain. I saw you out there helping the crew. He turns to you with a serious look. The fast spindle needs that water. You aren't wrong. He pauses, watching you carefully. I haven't seen you on the spindle before. What, if I may ask, is your business here? I'm running a crew. He nods. I see. Springtide is my ship. His face remains impassive. At least I am her captain. I do not own her. The Lotic Syndicate, my employer, was the one who put her into service. Glad to meet you. He bows his head gently. You have my thanks for assisting with the repairs. We were caught by some autonomous Conway munitions. He looks out at his ship. The Wellspring run is getting more dangerous every cycle. And after Hexport, he pauses. I do not expect things to improve. You both quiet for a moment, the loss of the station still inspiring silence in anyone who mentions it. Tell me, Malik meets your eye. As a sleeper, do you feel you have advantages over others, or does your particular condition provide only weaknesses? There are many downsides. He nods, of course, but you are stronger, hardier, more capable than most humans. He gestures towards the Springtide. Your work on my ship only evidences your abilities. You far outperform even my own crew. He looks at you, angling his head in deference. In conditions that are usually deadly. Sadly, despite even your good work, our losses have been great, and the administration at the Fast Spindle are not happy. We are to be impounded here until the Lotic Syndicate fulfills the agreed water freight. He frowns at the crumpled-looking ship. This war continues to pressure the belt. What will you do? This is where you are needed, Sleeper. Malik folds his arm. My crew tells me you have a ship, you have workers. This is what I need. As we fled from the Conway attack, our navigator registered something of great interest. A water-rich asteroid, one I believe is previously unknown to the syndicates. He comes a little closer. For now, I have sworn him to secrecy, as I must you. But if this asteroid could be surveyed, its value confirmed, it would more than make up for the shortfall of the Springtide. He pauses thoughtfully. Let him continue. I want you to survey the asteroid for me. It is a simple enough job, but its location so close to the edge of the wash is problematic. However, you have shown yourself to be very competent. If you are careful, there is no reason you should have problems with Conray, or any other hostile party for that matter. And what do I get? I will of course reimburse you with a portion of the fee to the Fast Spindle administration or withholding from me. 250 cryo is my offer. Why not do it yourself? As I've said, my ship and crew are impounded. Meanwhile, I do not believe the Lotic Syndicate would appreciate me taking their ship on this particular excursion. Malik passes you a thumbnail drive. Here are the details on the tests I need you to run for the survey. A sample core of ice from deep within the asteroid should give you enough material to work with. You notice a member of the Springtide's crew waiting quietly at a distance, and Malik nods to them discreetly. This is a delicate matter, Sleeper. Survey the rock and on your return broadcast the results to my personal terminal. The frequency is in that data. He pauses, meeting your eye. The results go to me, only to me. Then, once the matter is resolved, you will be paid. I am needed, he nods to the crew member, but I expect you to have all you need. He pauses. I have enjoyed watching you work, Sleeper. Impress me again. And with that, he bows a little and drifts away to meet his crew member. After watching him go, you turn back to the Springtide, still impressive despite being scarred with curls of ice and shiny with fresh welds. You imagine any captain of a ship like that has been through a lot to get to where they are. That makes them a valuable ally or a dangerous adversary depending on where you are. You hope with Malik you can find your way to being a former. New contract on the MIP. Acquire some components. I would like to find some crew, to be honest. So we had this one we could do. I think we'll stick here, actually. Nice. New location discovered. Signal station. Signal chaser facility. Interpret signals. A signal station searches for signals in the fast spindle's local region. Sorting them is too much work for the crew. Align arrays. Signal station makes use of the network of arrays across fast spindle, synchronizing its specialist work. Why would I do any of this? I guess it might become clear eventually. Continue with this. Boom. Pinnacle Explorer. New location discovered. Beltborn Venture. Infamous gambling barge. Only vouch for members can gamble on the Venture, but bar shifts are easily to come by, mostly because they pay in tips and little more. If you want to gamble in the Beltborn Venture, you'll need a member's backing. Perhaps after enough shifts you'll find a sponsor. Wrong button. Alright, I think we're sticking with this for now then. Nice. Ah, it gives you money as well. Alright. Let's see. What would this do? I just want to see what this does. Align arrays. Neutral. Action complete. Gave me some cryo. It's not repeatable. I'm done for the day, really. So that's where we're gonna find crew. Right. Gotcha. Fair enough. Alright. And psych, where am I gonna get money from? Food from? I haven't seen a food place yet. It's bad. It's bad, okay? You jerk! Suddenly awake. A fragment is lodged in your mind, a shard of sound, a signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. Inevitable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing as if they were typing. Settle them. Your fingers flap like caught birds. Take control. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. You flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you're reminded that you don't need to breathe. It is a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. You get up, push off the wall, pull on your clothes, anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphin drifts in casually, heading to his bunk to grab something. You can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. I said, "Are you okay?" He gives you a concerned look. "You look terrible." "Not really." You mumble a response. "You need to talk to me, Sleeper." Seraphin gives you a look. He sighs. "I know something happened back when we were leaving Hexport." "What do you mean?" "I saw it, Sleeper. Saw something change in your eyes." He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. "They were cold, fixed. I've never seen that before." He looks away. "Back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. I knew because of your eyes. I'd never met a sleeper before, but I knew immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then, on the rig," he shivers, "I couldn't see that anymore. I don't know what happened. What did it feel like?" He gives you a curious look. "Try to identify it." Positive outcome. You close your eyes and recall the moment. You remember Lane's voice, the rig hot and close, the numbness. And then you see it glittering in the non-space of your mind, thin and bright, like spider silk, a thread, a connection between your mind and something else. You open your eyes to Seraphine's expectant face. You try to think how to describe what you just felt, but words fail you. Still, you know you felt it, the invisible hand of a signal linked to your mind, and the thought makes you shiver. We need to get you checked up. We need to know what's happening. Seraphine gives you a stubborn stare. This isn't just about you. But where? I've been asking around. Seraphine's face is set with determination now. There's another station near this one, Flotsam. It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and dock ships, but it also houses some of the best artificers in the wash. We should go there as soon as the rig is ready. Okay, I'll go. Thank you. Look, he pauses. I know you don't know what it's like to be a sleeper. I don't know what it's like to be a sleeper. I understand there are things you can't tell me, can't show me, but I do know how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. I'm not going to nag you about it, he sighs, but it needs to be done. He passes by you as he leaves the bunks, squeezing your shoulder as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body at strangers even though you wish you didn't. Ad break time. Alright, we're big. We're big, motherfucker. Okay, at the very least you think you need to find someone who can stop you falling apart. Maybe Flotsam is not such a bad idea. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There's a cycle ahead and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. It's always 2 or 3 more things when you think, okay, I've finished reading that, that's cool. But no, we're not there yet. So we've got 3 cycles before this place dies or something. We've got 1 more cycle here. We're looking for a bar, so we're going to need to do spindle core. What's a 3 going to get us? Nah, let's do a 5. Sure. New location discovered. It's the bar, Gaia's Gaia, kelp-centric bar. Kelp cakes 12, so that's probably 4 for health. Order a rack, and that's probably only 1. Maybe this is 3. The freelancer for us engaged, but spend enough time at the local bar and they'll warm to you. Oh well, I might as well do a kelp cake then. Is that gonna do anything? Oh, that gave me 4. I should have waited till tomorrow. Should have waited. Didn't move it on, so I have to buy drinks. Getting racked. Alright, well, we've got some money. We'll just get absolutely shit-faced, I guess. Why not? The fast spindle is an exhausting place to find freelancers. There is no shortage of spaces. No shortage of spaces here. The corridors and bays throng with crew inbound and outbound, on or between contracts, trading stories, contacts, and materials. But whatever language, appearance, or code identifies someone as worth signing on with, you don't seem to have it. Perhaps it is because you're a new face, or are noticeably unsure, or perhaps it's just because you are a sleeper. Button over here moving. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There's something flashing out the corner of my eye on my other screen. What is it? Stop your engine. You push the thought to the back of your mind and instead focus on what's in front of you, the vast cylindrical tank at the center of Gaia's Gaia. The first time you entered the bar, you floated open-mouthed, much like all the new arrivals do, at the sight of the huge kelp stack, the biggest you have ever seen. Even now, your eyes fixed on the fronds of seaweed that wave in the circulating water, beyond the curve of dirty glass, you find it impressive. You take a sip of the harsh, saline-scented rack from its magnetic vessel secured to the bar. As you suck on the straw, your eyes following the shifting fronds, you hear someone clearing their throat beside you at the bar. Hypnotic, isn't it? Eugene, ambitious freelancer. The voice is low and rumbling and comes from a large figure on the stool next to you. The fluorescent lights behind the bar glint in his eyes, shining up into his wide, rough face. I've heard talk you're hiring. The figure turns to face you. You don't recognize him, but in the shifting light of Gaia's Gaia, that isn't surprising. That's right. He smiles. Well, today is your lucky day, my friend. He clicks his drink to the magnetic bar with a swift clink. Eugene, currently freelance. He turns on his stool and leans back a little. The effect is clearly meant to impress you on his size, and you have to admit, it works. Served on a whole slate of crews out of the spindle, cutters, mercs, extractors, he smiles and places a broad hand on his chest. Broad skill set, good work ethic, sense of humor, the full package. Sounds perfect. He nods. Why thank you, I aim to please. I'll run anything out of the fast spindle. I'm tough and quiet and you won't need to worry about me. He folds his arm across his chest. What kind of work are we talking about? Before you can answer, a voice echoes out from behind you. Eugene? You look over your shoulder for the source of the shout. Busy as ever, I see. A group of 3 spacers drift up behind you, one of them placing a heavy hand on your shoulder. Vesna, cold and hardened captain. She is fitted with matte metal optical implants and you cannot see her eyes. The caustic light from the tank plays across her face. Too busy to keep in touch, she sighs. I really don't like it when I have to come and find you. Vesna, Eugene nods politely at her, not betraying any strong reaction. Do I look like I'm socializing? He shakes his head. This is a meeting. Oh, a meeting, Vesna squeezes your shoulder. Is that what this is? Yes, Vesna, we are talking about your delivery, in fact. Eugene smiles widely. My friend here is being very helpful. He shoots you a knowing glance. Stay silent. Eugene shoots you another glance to try to cue you in, but you ignore him. Vesna looks irritated. You know, Eugene, I'm pretty tired of this whole act. She gestures dismissively at him. But in the end it doesn't matter. She drops her hand from your shoulder to her belt. Your eyes follow it down, and you see a dark, boxy shape there. A weapon? You either deliver by the deadline or you don't. And when you don't, she smiles tightly, I'll be happy to take you through the consequences. Until then, she shoots you a final glance. Chat to whoever the hell you want. Vesna and the 2 spacers flanking her glide out of the bar, and Eugene watches them go with little emotion. So, Eugene's smiles return. You were about to hire me? I was. Well then, he smiles. Put that little interruption out of your mind. Vesna just wants to scare you off. She likes to cause me trouble. Eugene looks away out of the door of the bar. Let's not let her. He pauses in silence for a moment, still looking away. You try to get a read on him, but his face is blank. Only his glittering eyes hint at some rapid internal activity. He turns back to you and meets your eye, a sudden shift in his manner obvious. If you need crew, you need to work. If you need to work, you need cryo. Is that right? He doesn't stop for your answer. Well, I can offer both, hard work and a good contract with a good payout. You take me with you on this job of mine and we split the take. He looks down, thinking. Hell, if you do, I'll consider signing on long term, he smiles. Think of that, no more recruiting. What's the job? Salvage, he leads in. I know of a wreck untouched by the local crews which recently turned up in the wash. It's just a little sunward from here, but its disabled transponder makes it invisible to anyone who doesn't know it's there. Had to squeeze the location out of a contact, but I'll share it with you for a straight split. Take me and your crew and we'll claim it all. Going to be a good payout, he winks. A really good one. What's the catch? Eugene frowns. No catch. He leans back and looks around the bar. Happy to take the offer elsewhere. I just felt like you were the right captain for this one. I'll be ready to go whenever you like, Eugene pauses. As a show of good faith, I'll also fly out with you on any job from the fast spindle. But I'm not leaving the station with you yet, not till I get my job done first. After that, we can talk flying together. No need to rush into it. He shakes your hand firmly, his palm rough and pitted, then turns back to his drink. You step out of the bar looking to see if Vesna is nearby. You don't spot her among the passing crews, but you can't help but imagine eyes on you in the bar. You shake it off, having become familiar with the feeling of being observed. What matters is you have found yourself a crew member and a contract. Whether either will come good, however, remains to be seen. New driver minor drive complete. Oh, have I got 4 all of a sudden? Where did I get 4? Oh, I can do this one. So you can do both. No dice damage on pushed re-roll. Don't know what that means. -2 stress if roll 6. Meh. Re-roll random dice but +1 rolled. Don't know what that means. I really don't. Alright, hang on. Let's continue exploring. I need to buy cargo and fuel. I don't have any of that yet. Right. So I need to tick these off. So that's Intuit. An engineer I can't do anything with. This is Engage and Intuit. And this one I'm done. Right, so this just gives money. This is just for money. Okay, so what we want to do is get our Intuit up to... Or do we want interface? No, we'll do Intuit. Boom. We've now got +1 into it. So, if we were to come to here, for example, we're now doing even better on that. So, 3. Yeah. Maybe. The life beneath. What's 2 and 1 gonna look like? Nah. Nah. Do that. Excellent. New location discovered. It's just a bar. Nimba's kitchen. Earn a meal. I don't need any food right now. Okay. Alright, understood. Didn't we do anything tricky here? 75%. Yeah, no. I think these ones are worth doing. It's, you know, it's 1 in 3. Negative is 1 in 3. Fuck you. Fuck you. Plus spindle... Oh, that's what? Did that say plus spindle crew? I thought it said. Would have been plus spindle core. Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, with my 1 left, can I try and... Oh, it's safe. What does safe mean? Right, so that's actually really good to know. It gives you food for free, and yeah, you can sort of throw away some of your bad dice without any... knowing it's not going to do any major damage. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, I'll take it. Do we want fuel? We do. We want fuel. As you drift lazily down to the ship's mess, you hear raised voices. You steel yourself for a moment at the entrance, then slip inside. Seraphin sits, hooked into his usual stool, his slate glowing beside him. He is shaking his head as you enter. Bliss, meanwhile, is floating freely and gesticulating sharply as they explain something important. I don't see why not, Bliss chops at the air. It's not like you have an alternative. We can get the cryo. It'll take time, but we can get it. That was the deal, Seraphin speaks calmly, trying to placate Bliss. Sleeper, Bliss spots you entering and they turn to Seraphin. Let's see what Sleeper thinks about it. About what? They both fall silent for a moment. Seraphin sighs. The rig's ready, Sleeper. Bliss gestures around the mess. I've fixed it. Hell, I've improved it. She's purring thanks to me. Now, wouldn't you say, having done such an incredible job, I deserve to be paid properly for my work? A calculated look crosses their face. A refit and retune like this would typically cost my clients hundreds of cryo, even if I was feeling charitable. Seraphin sighs loudly. He knows where this is going. See, I could make you pay, and maybe you could even scrape the cryo up, but not without taking a contract and taking this ship off station, leaving me in the lurch. We wouldn't do that, Seraphin starts, but Bliss holds up a hand to shush him. So I have a proposition, one that clears the step completely. They pause. I will turn around the open side on this little bay of mine and join up with you. You keep me in work, give me my split, and give me transit to wherever you are headed. I'll even keep this rig of yours working for free. They shrug. What could be better than that? Us paying and being on our way, with no hangers on. Seraphin folds his arm and looks at you. Tell him, Sleeper. Actually, we could use their help. Bliss grins at Seraphin. See, Sleeper gets it. You can use my help. I'm an excellent engineer, a tidy shipmate, and a half-decent chef. I'm done with fast spindle. I'm done taking not enough jobs for not enough cryo on a station where I know nobody. They pause, satisfied. You're welcome. How did you end up here then? Seraphin holds up his hands. Look, we appreciate it, but we are on the run, Bliss. Trust me, you are better off here. He gives him a serious look. Even telling you this could put you in danger. Bliss pauses, then they start laughing. On the run? They shake their heads, smiling. You expect me to be scared off by that goofy ship? It's true. Bliss just shrugs. This system is at war. The belt is spiraling into crisis. Everyone's got something. I know you were at export. Seraphin looks at them open mouth, searching for a retort. What happened there? Who's to say it won't happen here? I'm not sitting around watching this all play out any longer. They take a deep breath. Something has to give. Bliss turns to Seraphin. Look, you've done your due diligence or whatever. You are on the run. I've been warned. I accept the risks. That's it. At the end of the day, your ship is clamped into my bay, so unless you know my encryption protocols, there's not much left to discuss. Seraphin shakes his head, a small smile crossing his face. They've got us there. He looks at you and then at Bliss. Looks like we've gained a crewmate. He unhooks from his store, but I'm moving to the engine room and he drifts off to the bunks to gather his things. You and Bliss exchange a nervous look. Sleeper, welcome aboard. Bliss smiles and gives you a half-hearted mock salute. You leave Bliss in the galley and head for the cockpit. The rig is ready to fly again, but the question is, where to take her next? New ship crew available. You have unlocked the belt map. Go to the map and press the belt button to travel to other hubs and discover new parts of the Starward belt. Belt. Dude. Flotsam. Holmes Rock. Hellion Gate. Irradiated zone. Irradiated zone. Dark side. Can't even see what that says. Ah. Dude. Fucking huge. Actual map. What about the other way? Interesting. Cool. Anyway, we need fuel and we need surprise, motherfucker. Supplies. What was I doing? I was exploring, right, yeah. Each section. Let's continue with this. Let's see, is 4 going to be doing it for us? It is. Nice. Actually, what about 3? No. Alright, what have we found? The Underhang, growing shantytown. Oh, that's that one. Spindle's Edge, improvised residential block. Sealing shift. Most of Fast Spindle workers don't like going out to seal up the new units, so they shift. Okay, so this is just for money. For money. Let's chuck a 4 on. Hope for a positive. Yes. Yes. New location. Scrappers ship. Traveling scrap dealers. That's a thing. Buy scrap components. Process raw scrap. Scrap components are bundled up in its... Right, so this is... I would do this job and then get some scrap, which would give me some money. I guess. Anyway, it's not a job that I'm suited for, I'm afraid. Back to this one. Let's give it the old 5. Don't know why I can't use my push. Why can't we be friends? Trade hall. That's what I've been looking for. Fuel fuel's gonna cost me 40. And fuel supplies is gonna cost me 45. So I need money. Alright. Okay, so that's that for this day. Let's go back to here and do a 1. See how much food we get, if anything. I got 2 energy for free. That's not bad. I like that. Both of these jobs are dangerous. No, I ain't gonna use a 3 on those jobs. Okay, where else is there jobs? Trade hall bar. One of these was... Oh, so this was jobs as well, wasn't it? Risky, but... I'll try it. 13 cryo. Alright, not bad. There we go, good day. Good day. And in fact, that gives us enough that we can... I think we should fill supplies above fuel. Yeah. I want full supplies, do I? Yes, so. done. Now we need to earn money. And in fact, I need to see. So what's this one going to cost? It's going to cost 2 fuel. That would be all of our fuel. Wait, this one doesn't need fuel. I have 3 fuel. So I need, yeah. Right, and I also need to go... So what happens when this ends? I've got 2 more cycles. Now we're saying... Oh, right, so in 2 cycles, I guess lane might start coming. We definitely want scavenge fuel. Alright, cool. Yep. End cycle. Another 1. Okay. So we're trying to finish this off. I'll try it with, well, we'll just do a 3 and hope. I don't want to use a 5. Nice. Minor drive complete. Fast Spindle lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from bottom to top. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers rushing by, you start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort. Back up! The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure clutching some oddly shaped open-frame object gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides away. Cad can't read the rest of it. Spiky airbike courier. Dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel and it spirals in 0 G's. She turns to you in her anger. You see that? Tried to slam me into the wall. Total dickhead. She nods firmly. No shit. Haulers hate us. She sniffs and looks you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without a vehicle, she squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do? Right, sorry. Like I said, don't care. She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. You're new here, right? Yes. She shrugs sympathetically. Figures. Let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers, dickheads the lot of them, especially the water haulers. I think they're better than anyone. Don't mess with the stevedores though, they're good people. Get treated like shit by everyone else just like us. She rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. They'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up and never ever get in a spindle jack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. Thanks. She nods. Alright then. She pauses, considering something. Then, suddenly, she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small, transparent rectangle punched with holes. Text glints within it, reading Cadet, Stripline Express. You take it. Cadet, she flexes proudly. That's me. Stripline is my outfit. Kamal's... Is that what it says? Cadet. Kamal's the dispatcher. Small outfit, but we punch above our weight. Dispatch is here in the spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the spindle 10 times a cycle. You need anything moving on the spindle, data, tech, messages too hot for the hardline, come find me. I'll do that. She nods. Tell them I sent you. They'll make sure it gets to me. She kicks off the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech from what you assume is her dispatcher. Cadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it. Gotta hop, sleeper. She looks over at you and something flickers in her eyes. An idea, or perhaps just a realization. You might be able to help me with something. Package has been bothering me. She squints down the passage. Come to the office at Stripline in a few cycles and I'll show you. Sure. We'll call it a favor on account of me saving you from being flattened by a hauler. She winks. Now you better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you. You step back as she twists the handlebars and a burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would a courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor back to the safety of the main concourse. Bro. New drive. Help Cadet. Diagnose your frame. Find a tech. Why wasn't I looking for that? Explore the hidden wreck. Acquire some components. Wait for cadet. Yeah, alright. I think we're doing recruit Eugene next. Which is, of course, doing this. I've got enough fuel. Yeah. So that's automatic, and I've only got Bliss to choose from. So he's those two. Alright, sure. Let's go. Let's have a disaster. This is not what you promised, Seraphim turns to Eugene with a raised eyebrow. Looking out across the field of debris scattered around the small asteroid whose gravity has kept them here, you have to agree. Where do you even start looking? Eugene shrugs unfazed. I said the wreck was hidden. Transponder off. No flight records. I didn't say it was intact. If it was an easy job, I wouldn't have come with your crew. Could have just grabbed it myself. He winks. We all earn our share. That's definitely more than one wreck. Bliss is leaning towards the window, staring out at the glinting debris. I see at least 3, maybe 4 different engine housings out there. Seraphim sighs. You really think there's something of value to be pulled from all that? I know there is. My tip-off is good. We just need to find the right part. He looks out of the wide field of debris. Of the right ship. Let's get to it then. Hold up, Seraphim raises her hand. Eugene, can you at least tell us what needle we are looking for in this haystack? What I know is that a wreck with an item of great value is out here. That's it. He unstraps from his seat. Are you all afraid of some hard work? Is that it? Seraphim starts laughing. So you're telling me we don't know what we're looking for, where it is, or what it's worth? Trust me or don't, Eugene shrugs. This will be worth your while. This is a hot tip. Sleeper, please. Seraphim turns to you, exasperated. Suddenly, a percussive beep interrupts the conversation. All of you turn your attention to Seraphim's terminal. What the? He taps a few keys. We've got an incoming ship. Their transponder just popped up. See? Eugene smiles. What did I say? A hot tip. We better claim it before they do. He jabs a finger at the readout. Okay, clock's ticking. I see a few obvious sights, large bits of debris, clear hull sections. We should focus on those. Bliss unclips from the seat and glides out of the cockpit. See you lucky kids in the airlock. Ready, Cap? Eugene slaps you on the shoulder and kicks you out through the cockpit door. Turn to Seraphim. I do not like that guy, Seraphim shakes his head. Give him a chance. Seraphim turns back to his terminal. Hey, you're the one who has to go out there with him. Look, Seraphim glances back over his shoulder. Just be careful. You nod and glide through the cockpit door, already trying to map the scattered debris in your mind. What is this rubbish? Okay. Alright, we're all good. We're all good. Why are only some of them flashing? Oh, that's the rig. We're all good. This here is the other ship coming in. Right, so we've got 2 cycles before the other ship. We've got crushed shuttle, pitted asteroid, scattered wrecks. I guess we'll just start on the left side. What do we got here? We've got possible green. Me. Okay, that's probably worth doing then. Okay, and also me plus. So that one's good as well. And also me. Guess we'll just start at the left and go right. What's 2 gonna get me? It's actually not that bad. But we're gonna start with a 5. Nice. Do our 6s. Excellent. And then we've got this one. Hope for a positive. Beautiful. Nailed it. New location discovered. Shuttle interior. Cables and corrosion. Still won't hear me. Risky. I mean, I just have to though. So it's just stress. It's the okay. That's fine. Stress is fine. Really, just 50-50 twice. That's so bad. This one's re-roll 2 lowest dice. Should have done that before I. Alright, anyway, there we go. End cycle. Probably could have found something for Yujin to do, but I didn't. I had no energy loss from the because I've got supplies. Gotcha. All right. So the 2 lowest dice are a 2 and a 3, and these are all 4s. 4s aren't great. Or are they? 4s are okay. Let's use the 4s. Nice. Not so nice. Again, neutral. Reroll these 2. Nice. Oh, hang on. The 4. No, let's do the 5. Guaranteed 2. That'll finish that off. Beautiful. What have we found? What? Nothing? Okay, that sucks. Just keep going then, I guess. We can do this one. Oh my god, look how many there is to do here. Fuck. That's bad, okay? That's bad. Well, this guy's got fucking nothing going for us. I mean, the danger is just stress, right? Find out. Neutral. It's fine. That is fine, actually. Nah. Doesn't seem worth it. Unstable cipher. Decaying passcode. What does that mean? Where'd that come from? Nah. I'm not risking it. The game's not really set up to just be constantly gambling, surely. Alright, here comes the other ship. Eugene, you piece of shit, where are you? The distorted voice rattles through the ship as you are finishing your breakfast in the mess. Everyone turns to look at Eugene, Seraphin already shaking his head. Vesna, he says under his breath. You suddenly recall the steel-eyed captain who confronted Eugene in the Gaia back on the far spindle. Open this airlock before I do something I'll regret. As her voice echoes through the room, you realise she must be at the rig's entry lock, using the comms panel out there to speak into the ship. Let her in. You kick off towards the door, but Seraphin drifts between you and the exit. Sleeper, you sure about this? You can see he's angry, but he's looking for you for reassurance. Relax, I've got this. Seraphin raises an eyebrow. I like your confidence, Sleeper, but the moment this starts to go south, he shoots Eugene a glance. We're booting them both out. Eugene follows you as you glide down the airlock and hit the control for the exterior door. Let me handle her, Eugene gives you a nod. Fine. He nods appreciatively and drifts forward between you and the airlock. You watch as the airlock cycles, and past Eugene you see the silhouette of Vesna through the viewing window as she removes the helmet of her suit. Though he has been playing it cool, you see Eugene take a deep breath in preparation. I should shoot you right here, Vesna floats through the airlock door, her eye implants glinting, but I wouldn't want to give the wrong impression. Her metal eyes make it impossible to read her tone. Let her talk. Is this how you treat all your clients, Eugene? Promise to deliver the coordinates they help you find, and then instead, when you find out their value, go to another crew to try to steal the prize out from under their nose? I knew you were an amateur, she smiles, but I didn't know you were an idiot too. Tell whatever stories you want, Vesna. Until I am paid, there is no deal, Eugene smiles. Did you pay me, Vesna? Vesna looks frustrated. You know as well as I do that payment was on receipt of the coordinates. Well, sorry to say, I won't be able to deliver. Eugene shrugs. Deal's off. You piece of shit. Vesna's hand goes to her hip. Now, you are a guest on this ship. Seraphim's voice comes from somewhere behind you. Let's all remember that. You turn back to see Seraphim holding a whole bolster at his waist. Its wide muzzle trained on Vesna. Vesna lets her hand go loose at her side, abandoning her thread. Of course, she sighs. I thought you might all see the breach of trust in this situation, but I was wrong. I don't want to escalate this. Other than that, we are agreed. She backs a little towards the airlock door. Eugene, she looks at the freelancer. Don't think I'll back off. My team can find this thing faster than any mongrel crew. She smiles. First to the prize takes all. May the better crew win. She smiles. Indeed. Vesna slips back into the airlock and hits the control panel. Doors scissor shut. Eugene suddenly tumbles forward as if something hits him on the side of the head. Idiot! Seraphim stands behind Eugene, having swung the heavy muzzle of the hull bolter directly into his head. If you ever put this crew in danger like that again... Stop. Sleeper, you know I value your kindness and your patience, but this idiot almost got us killed. Seraphim is breathing heavily, his anger apparent. He still might. Eugene catches himself on the wall. It's okay. He wipes a little blood from his forehead. I get it. That was sloppy. Your whole thing is sloppy, Seraphim bristles. This is how you get yourself killed. As much as I am enjoying the display of aggression and idiocy, Bliss's voice comes from behind you all, we still have a contract to complete. They push past to start suiting up, and now we have complete competition. We should leave. Seraphim slings the whole bolter onto his shoulder. Cut our losses. Now wait. Eugene wipes the corner of his mouth with the back of his hand. All this and you're gonna give up and turn tail? Eugene is right. Shit, Seraphim sighs. You are right. Alright, he glides you over to Eugene and pats him on the shoulder. Time for you to prove your worth. I'll be watching. What is this rubbish? Okay, new location discovered. The Vesna ship. So that's three. We've got three rounds. Have I started on this one? I have. Actually, what's the... That's just got a huge amount as well. This one at least works for me pretty well. Let's start with... No. Yes. Okay, 5. Boom. 5. Boom. God, it's not going to be enough. 6. Oh, it's going to be actually just slightly too much. Done. Oh, I'm not good at this apparently, damn it. This is gonna be rubbish. Oh god, you have failed everything, Eugene. Everything. Fucking useless. We just have to try. Oh, nice. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, alright, so with my... I need to do that. It gave me a 3 instead of a 2. What the hell's this? Oh, that just takes you straight to the rig. I gotcha, I understand. Yep, we're just gonna have to risk it for the biscuit. Fucking useless. What is this rubbish? That'll be a 2, no. What about here? That'll also be a 2. I'll have to try. I mean, yeah. So we game over if we get full stress? I don't recall that. I don't recall. Next. Alright, do what we can here. It's not good for me though. I think I work on the other one then. We've still got 2 cycles to beat these guys, so let's do all this here. Nice. Do our push. Alright, that wasn't the worst. And I guess I just have to risk this. Yeah. Nice. And do I risk this one? No, the danger worries me. Danger worries me, Will Robertson. Danger. I'll do it here. It's just risky. It's probably just one thing if we get negative. We get neutral, we've done it. You bastard, Eugene. Eugene, you're terrible. You're terrible. What do you do with this guy? Alright. I think we're good. Oh, I see. I've lost another die as well. Oh, that's what the stress does. It does 2 damage, and then if I get here, it's going to do 3 damage to die. Right, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Now I understand that. Fair enough. How has he got 1s? He hasn't seriously got 1s, has he? Fuck off, bro. I'm gonna take the risk here. Yes. Right, so we've done that. That was worth it. Cool. Yeah, now we've got this to work on. It's gonna re-roll 1 and 3. I'm just gonna do it anyway. And it gave me a 1 and a 3. Fucking... Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. And just straight up 6. Done. That should give us another location. Unlock with the cipher. What's this? Oh, raw scrap. Scrap and secrets. Okay. Alright, so... Useless, useless, useless. This is terrible. He's gonna... No, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, man. This might be, though. It's worth trying. Good. Got a positive out of it, too. I can't be doing any more stress. I really can't. How many... Is that 1 more? Like, it's a... Really? So that's it? It's over? Guess we just have to risk the stress. Oh, good work. Not enough though. It's not enough. Do I risk this? See, that's danger though. No, I can't. Can't risk that. Don't know what. So I think it's over. I didn't have enough. Eugene, you slimy shit, how did you do it? The now familiar voice of Vesna echoes through the ship. The crew gathers at the airlock, peering through the viewing window to see Vesna's silhouette just outside. Seraphim puts a hand on the airlock controls. This time, let's leave her out there, he winks. Come to gloat, Eugene shouts back, holding a finger on the talk button of the comms panel. Leave us alone already. Stop playing games, Eugene, Vesna hisses back. I know you took it. We found the ship. The cargo bay was empty. How did you get it out without us seeing? I have no idea what you were talking about. Eugene looks back at you. Did we take anything? There is a long pause, then all of a sudden, Vesna's harsh laugh rattles through the airlock. It was empty all along, she cackles. We pulled a stack of component crates out of the bay, but that was it. You're even stupider than I thought, Eugene. These coordinates were a bust. She laughs again. Enjoy the trip back. The comms click off and you see her silhouette disappear from the viewing window. A tense silence descends on the crew. You know what? A tired-looking Bliss chimes in. I'm going back to bed. Wake me up when we reach the fast spindle. They glide away towards the bunks. Seraphim gives Eugene a nice cold look. So, not only did you drag us into this fight, you did it for nothing? He is fuming. We got beaten to the prize and there wasn't even a prize to find? Eugene is frozen for a moment and you realise this is the first time you have seen him speechless. We're leaving. Enough of this. Seraphim turns to you. In 1 minute we're out. I'll see you in the cockpit. He glides out of the room, leaving you and Eugene by the airlock. I'm sorry. That makes 2 of us. Eugene looks crestfallen. At least, he begins quietly, Vesna did not get her hands on it. You need to start talking. Eugene sighs. Give me time. I'll explain in time. He kicks off from the wall and glides past you up towards the cockpit. You watch him go, angry and confused, but with little more to say. There will be plenty of time for recriminations and arguments on the journey back to the fast spindle. For now, you just want to get out of here. I mean, can you please explain to me how I mean, I had some great bloody, some great things there. Was I meant to just start with this one maybe? Was the rest just a waste? Once I had the, yeah, with the shuttle, once I had the lock thing, I needed to do this one. But how was I supposed to know that? Maybe it said somewhere? It's quite possible it said something. Leave. Weird. Actually weird. Something flickers in the back of your mind. You stop. You have to stop to blink it away. It is a tightness behind your left eye, an aching point that refuses to move. And then the voice begins, hissing through the background noise of the rig systems, a new whine amongst the chorus of the life support and ventilation. Sleeper, the hiss brings Lane's sharp features to mind. I suppose you thought you had slipped my net. Export jumps into your mind, an image of the station immolating in white light, though you were not conscious to witness it. You are distant, his voice hisses into white noise, but you are not free of me yet. I'm coming, Sleeper, the hiss drops, and I will retake control of what is mine. The closer I come to you, the more you will feel it. Lane moves your finger to tap your forehead. I'm in here. Until you cannot resist. Bright smile, pale eyes, a growing hiss that hurts. Then the hiss is gone, the rig suddenly quiet, the stinging tightness diffusing behind your eyes, but the fear remains. Sleeper, you good? Seraphim is there, floating by your berth. You were talking. Lane is coming. Seraphim looks alarmed. You feel him, right? He looks away. We can use that. Stay ahead of him. He squeezes your shoulder. We can do this. We are fast and smart. We keep moving. We don't stay anywhere for long. We find a way. He frowns, somehow. You nod. You do not know how Lane is able to reach into your mind like this. How is he able to speak to you? But you want so desperately for it to stop. You must find out what he has done to you before it's too late. You must stay ahead of Lane at all costs. Eugene has spent the journey back to the fast spindle avoiding Seraphim as best he can. It might be that he is afraid, but you get the feeling it's more likely that he has been making himself scarce out of a genuine sense of regret. Regret! Seraphim, however, doesn't see his behaviour so favourably. Slimy shit won't even show his face. Seraphim complains loudly as he finalises docking. Put us in a space of crew's sights with no care for anyone but himself. Enough, Seraphim. Seraphim turns to shoot you an irritated look, but as he does, you see his eyes jump to the door behind you. You hear the rustle of movement behind your head and turn to see Eugene in the cockpit's doorway, a rare serious expression on his face. I owe you all an explanation. His voice is low and steady. Believe it or not, this was not my plan. Yeah, your plan was to find the loot in that wreck and split with it, wasn't it, big man? Seraphim glares at Eugene. No, Eugene gives him a tired look. It wasn't. Hear about Seraphim, Bliss cuts in front of from the back of the cockpit. Vesna has been searching for a ship. Eugene looks over your heads for the fast spindle. An infamous ship. Seemed like she already had a ship, Seraphim interrupts. That was part of the problem. Not a rig, Eugene looks down towards him. A fraction drive ship, an interstellar ship. That seems to shut Seraphim up, and you don't blame him. An interstellar ship here in the belt, that's tech from the core systems. Why didn't you say? I shouldn't even be telling you now, Eugene frowns. Word gets out that there's a factory-fresh fraction ship somewhere in the belt. People kill for less. He shakes his head. Gangs kill for much less. You are telling me there's a fraction ship that no one has ever found that's been sitting here since when? Seraphim shakes his head. Since the collapse? Believe it or not, that's exactly it. Eugene looks to you. Vesna's put me on the trail. She wanted me to find its location for repayment. He looks away. An old debt. But the moment I found the data that verified its existence, that confirmed the ship was out there. I couldn't give it to her, and that's when you found me. I keep it from her. Eugene folds his arms. You may have met Vesna, but you don't know her. Eugene meets your eye. She's one of the last people in the belt who should have a ship like that. Well, no one has the ship now, if it even exists. Need I remind you that it wasn't there? Seraphim shrugs. Your data was a bust. No, Eugene shakes his head. It was there, once. Those wrecks, those were the ships that fought over the fraction ship. A bunch of Solheim corporates who wanted to get out of the system when it all came down. And that ship was their ticket. The Aphelion Path. Eugene looks out at the fast spindle. It was there, but someone moved it, hid it, long before we got there. Leave the belt, sign me up. Eugene laughs. You and me both, Sleeper. Eugene inhales long and deep. I am sorry, Sleeper. He looks at Bliss and Seraphim, and to you both as well. I wanted to keep this secret. I wanted to find the Aphelion Path, and I knew that if I did, you would understand. Still, I was wrong to manipulate you. He bows his head. But I'm not done. He raises his head, his gaze hard now. I will find the ship, and I will leave the belt. How will you do that? Seraphim shoots him a sly look. With no ship of your own, and Vesna at your back? Eugene ignores him and moves closer to you. Sleeper, I will uphold our deal. I will serve on your crew, and when I have news of the Aphelion, you will know. That is what we agreed. Seraphim turns to you. I know, I always say it, but this time you have to listen, Sleeper. Seraphim gestures to Eugene. This guy is no good. I have known his type, don't bring him. This can be your escape too, Sleeper. Eugene meets your eye. Okay, you're in. Seraphim sighs, getting up from his seat. You've got a lot to prove. He passes close to Eugene as he leaves. You better get on with it. Eugene meets his eye, but says nothing. Once Seraphim is gone, he looks to you and nods. Thank you. He turns and leaves too. Quite the ragtag group we have here, Bliss nudges past you. I know you understand what a second chance means for you, Sleeper. They smile. But I'm glad to see you understand that others need the same. They slip out before you can respond. You stare out of the cockpit at the lights of the fast spindle. You hope Eugene understands his mistake, and you hope even harder that Vesna doesn't hold a grudge, even though you know for a fact she does. You sigh. The bunks are going to need expanding at this rate. Sleeper. Cadet drifts from the shadows outside Bliss's Bay, looking around nervously as she approaches. Seems like I'm going to need to call in that favor. Her face is pale and deathly serious. And that will be for tomorrow. We're done for the day. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for existing. Au revoir. Goodbye.